That was not of God. Now, an angel can go to that notice board of God and see what is displayed there. An evil spirit can go there and see what is displayed there. Now, here is the best part. When you sleep, your spirit can access that information. And when your spirit accesses that information, what the information says is what the spirit receives. But it becomes bizarre, illogical, because the spiritual things Bible says are foolishness to the carnal mind. It is in coded form. You cannot understand it. Tuko pamoja? Don't get confused. Nenda pole pole. Why do only people then dream when they are asleep? Let me show you why. Again, let me oversimplify it. Imagine a worker that is employed in a certain office. Have we imagined? I don't see you imagining. Are you imagining? But I'm imagining a worker who has been employed in a certain office, a public office. His duty is to serve customers as they come in. So there's always a queue. They are coming. Next, he's serving them. He's serving them. She's serving them as they come. When it reaches midday, the door is closed and they are given a lunch break. All right? Now, during that lunch break, this worker will not go out. Instead, he will pull from his drawer a cup or a bottle of juice, maybe a samosa, mandazi, whatever he wants. Put them on his desk because it is lunch break, nobody is coming. Then, put his feet up on the table, and relax. Then as he drinks his juice over lunch break, he grabs a newspaper and then flips through, catching up with the news, isn't it? Or, if he has got a radio, he switches on the radio, anasikiza matangazo. Or if he's in the internet, anafungua internet, anaanza kuangalia news. All right? He would not have done that when customers were there because he would not be able. Now, that is exactly what happens when you dream. This body is the customer. The spirit is busy ensuring this body is alive, making sure the body is doing all that pertains to life. When you go to sleep, the body is switched off. That means it is lunch break. Amen? No more customers are coming, and we hear you go. The way you snore. So unajua? That's lunch break. So, because now no customers, your spirit in your sleep gets some time to flip through the news. In that flipping through the news, that is what is a dream. Sababu sasa, the spirit now goes to the website, naza kuangalia, while you are away, hii imefanyika, hiyo imefanyika, that one is fanyika. Anaangalia, ukiamka, the chapter is closed. But the problem is the language. In fact, even during the day, if you sleep even on your chair and fall asleep and there's no disturbance, you will dream. Si ndio? Watu wengine ufikiria kuota mchana is illegal. No, it's not illegal. In fact, it shows you are healthy and connected. Unakaa, especially when you have eaten sima na maziwa mala, saa 7. Notorious. You just stretch yourself, ni saa 8, and then you drift off. And in fact, you begin to dream. Why? Same story. Lunch break, customers have gone. The official serving the people, he's getting some time off. He begins to flip through the news. What is happening? Anachukua gazeti hili, anaangalia, anafungua radio, anasikiza. That translates as a dream. What you get is actually spiritual information that has been posted up there, but declassified by God. That is to say, if God has not allowed it, no spirit will access it. Look at it this way. One day, Gideon, because God had commissioned him to go and fight the Midianites, Gideon was a little bit jittery. Then God tells him, well, if you, in the book of Judges, if you are still fearful, go down to the camp of the Midianites, and there you will hear what they say. Afterwards, your hands will be strengthened. So Gideon takes his servant, a faithful soldier, personal assistant called Pua. Not Pua Maskini, P-U-A. And they go as spies. And they go and sit at the uttermost end of the camp of the Midianites. And then one Midianite man begins to tell his friend a dream. And this man says, last night I had a dream. What was it? I dreamed that a cake of barley, nasikia, mkate wa shairi, si wa unga, a cake of barley came tumbling down into the army of the Midianites. And then this loaf of bread hit a tent of the Midianites, and the tent overturned and it lay on its side. Now that's a dream. It has not been dreamed by a Christian. It has not been dreamed by a man of God. In fact, it's an idol worshiper, an enemy of Israel, who is dreaming that. Then his friend tells him, that must be Gideon, the sword of Gideon. You see, Gideon, this is nothing else save the sword of Gideon. That is Judges chapter 7, verse 14. This is nothing else save the sword of Gideon, the son of Joash, a man of Israel. For into his hand hath God delivered Midian and all his armies. Now, let me ask you a question, provided you will answer me. What is the logic between a bread made from barley hitting a tent and the tent overturning to mean that Gideon, the son of Joash, has been given victory over the Midianites by God? Hiyo mkate inaingilia wapi? Hiyo bofulo inaingilia wapi? That is why dreams are bizarre. They are very bizarre, weird. But they are weird because it is a spiritually coded language. So the man will say, hey, I had a funny dream. I had a weird dream. Listen, It is weird and funny because you are in the flesh. But in the spirit, it is a real coded message. Ndio maana nikakwambia, avoid people who you ring over the radio and tell them your dreams and they interpret for you. My friend, atakutia pale kwa mikoko siku moja ukose kutoka. It is so weird. That's why I said from the beginning, they lack logic. It is not logical. You look for logic in a dream, you can't find it. That is why most of us say, ndoto tu. Wengine wanasema, hizo ndoto za mchana. You will reach a point where you will not take anything you dream for granted. However illogical it may be. It is illogical because you are a natural man. But in the spiritual realm, it is a coded message. Tuko pamoja. It is like taking a television set, or maybe a radio, or even a smartphone, opening and looking at the circuit board. What do you see? Unaona tu vitu. Kama ni zamani ungeona matransistor, manini, siku hizi ni integrated circuits. Unaona tu vitu vimekaa kama mnyongolo vimekaa hivi. Unaona? Yeah? Or go to your car, go and open the hood and just look at the layout of the engine. What do you see there? Ndio maana gari ikikuharibikia njiani unafungua, alafu unaangalia hivi, alafu unashikashika tu hivi, yani maana you don't see any logic in the way that engine is. But a mechanic will come, ataangalia, afuambie hapa, unaona hii, sasa hii ndio inapeleka maji hapa, hii inaregesha hii inapeleka hii sijui ni sensor, hii nini. Kwake yeye, because he's trained, he sees the logic. Kwako wewe, unaona tu ni vitu tu vimejaa kwa mdomo wa gari, ni bonnet, uelewi. That is how spiritual things are. Tuko pamoja? So that is now the general concept of dreaming. Now, let's bring God into the picture. And how do you start? I want to go by a law called the law of first mention in the Bible, where something is mentioned first in the Bible. And the first time a dream is mentioned in the Bible, imagine, first time in the Bible, it is in Genesis chapter 20, verse 1 to 3, where God is appearing in a dream to a Philistine king who was stolen Abraham's wife. Even wife stealers can dream. Imagine. Wife stealers dreaming. Listen to this. And Abraham journeyed from thence towards the south country and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah, his wife, "She is my sister." And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. Those days, any beautiful woman must be the wife of the king. So, shida ni yako wewe. If you marry a beautiful girl, most likely the king will take her. That is a very difficult way of living. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, "Behold, thou art but a dead man, for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife." Listen to this. God is the one who introduces, he's the one who initiates a dream to talk to Abimelech so that he refrains from stealing Abraham's wife. That is a typical case of God using the dreaming faculty in man to make his will known to people. God decided to use that faculty. But if he had not, he could have used any other thing. In Egypt, Abraham suffered the same fate. Mnakumbuka? Akadanganya pia Farao kwamba Sara ni dada yake. Na Sara akaulizwa, huyu ni nani? Huyu ni ndugu yangu mkubwa. In fact, toka ntoke. In fact, angewa mamangu, hata mimi singezaliwa. Uongo. In Egypt, we are not told. The Bible is silent about how God made Pharaoh know that Sarah was Abraham's wife. The Bible is silent on that one. We don't know what happened. But here in Gerar, God used the dreaming faculty to come in the spirit and talk to the spirit of Abimelech in a dream and tell him, you are a dead man. That means you are going to die. Since then, we see the Bible talking about spiritual communication between man and spirits. Between man and spirits. There's a lot of communication going on. Namna hiyo. Hata wewe usiku umeota ama umelala fofofo. So, let us now begin to go to the Bible so that we begin to get the concept from a biblical point of view. In 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11, listen to this. For what man knoweth the things of a man, save the spirit of man which is in him? Even so, the things of God knoweth no man, but the Spirit of God. So he's saying, if you want to know the things of God, you must access the Spirit of God. That is the construct. If you want to know the things of a man, you must access the spirit of man. Because it is the spirit of man that knows the things of man. Now, let me talk about something. It is not related to dreams, but I also want to use it as a caution. Never involve yourself with such. There is something called hypnosis. Have you heard of hypnosis? In hypnosis, you are made comfortable. You could be sitting on a chair, and a hypnotist will do some things that will cause you to black out physically, but you will still be conscious. Then the hypnotist will begin to talk to you, but you will be speaking while you are asleep, sitting on a chair. Any secret that he will ask of you, ambayo uliapa, ukaramba kidole, ukagusa chini, ukaweka juu, ukasema haki ya Mungu, hii ni siri kwa moyo, utaisema. Ubaya ukiamka hautajua umesema nini. Listen, gentlemen and ladies. According to me, that one is a branch of witchcraft. Now, let's not argue. Sindio? And you tell me, no, it is science. It is not science. It is witchcraft. Anything, any person who bypasses your physical, natural faculty and begins to talk to your spirit directly while he himself is in the flesh, and he talks to your spirit while you are unconscious, that is witchcraft. Ni sayansi unafundishwa. Hata witchcraft ni science. In fact, witchcraft is a craft. Ndio maana inaitwa witchcraft. It is a witching craft. So a witch is actually a craftsman. Craftsman kama vile tu mtu wa kufanya vitu, fabrication nini, lakini amesomea craftsmanship ya mambo ya nini? Ya kiroho. That's why it is called witchcraft. It is a science on its own. You see, there are some things that are an abomination, but they have been sanitized by so-called science. And you think that one is godly. It is not. Hypnosis is not the will of God. You should not put me to sleep and begin to talk to me and extract secrets from my spirit. Na mimi nimelala. That is theft. Oni wizi. Some people claim that it is actually a form of therapy, whereas a psychologist is trying to pinpoint your problem. And he will talk to you. You say, oh, ni mtu wa miaka 40. He will talk to you until you talk about the things that happened to you when you are 5 years old. That is hypnosis I'm talking about. Ukiwa miaka 5, vitu hata we mwenyewe hujui, utamwambia kila kitu. Ukiamka hujui umesema nini. My friend, nobody would be in his right mind would be willing to go to such therapy. Akiniuliza pin number, na utamwambia na hujui. Abana, hii dunia imekuwa mbaya. So such things are dangerous. It is part of what is called forbidden science. They are using this, that it is only the spirit of man which is in him that can know the things of a man. So, breach the spirit. Ask the spirit questions, and the spirit will tell you secrets. Hata vitu vingine mwenye kuvisema hajui, maana vilifanyika akiwa mtoto. Listen to this. Such a faculty is only reserved for God. And I'll explain. When God wants to know something about a person, God will come and interrogate his spirit. He will not interrogate your soul. He will interrogate your spirit. And your spirit will tell him. You'll ask me, why would God want to know something about me and interrogate my spirit, and he is God, he knows everything. Because from the onset of creation, God has chosen on many occasions to relate to his creation on their level.